We would like to call the Scott County Board of Education's regular meeting of November the 9th to order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This time it is my honor and privilege to first do the Volunteers of the Month for Scott County Schools. As always, we are so thankful for the time and effort that you give our students, that you are as much part of the success of us just being named an exemplary school district. Without everyone involved, including our volunteers, you played an inaugural part with that. This time we would like to first Volunteer of the Month for Birchville Elementary, Marva Phillips. Fairview Elementary, Marie Chambers. Huntsville Elementary, Christy Harness. Christy, if you will remain standing. Huntsville Middle, Jennifer Bird. Robbins Elementary, Sam Story. And Winfield Elementary, Bill Wendell and Little Trucking.
Got John out of there. Sorry, John.
Thank you. Now at this time, we would like to, name the November Scott County Chamber of Commerce Student of the Month. Excuse me.
That's it.
Timber Kincaid Yancey, the 17-year-old son of Terry and Wendy Yancey of the Oneida community, was selected by the Scott High School staff as the November Stand Student of the Month. Timber is a member of the Beta, Upward Bound, French, and the Environmental Club. Timber is also a member of the Oneida Church of God. Timber is a member of the Highlander graduate class of 2018. His plans are to attend Rome State under the Tennessee Promise Program and pursue a career in the medical field.
Thank you. Thank you.
Works. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Volunteers and Students of the Month.
Does anyone from the public like to present something to the board, Mr. Hall?
You.
I'd like to take just, Neil said I could have about an hour. No, I'm kidding. But I will make it quick. I got a handout for each, and I've been trying to get to all of our, these are going to all of our county commissions and school boards, then I can make it. I've got, let's see. I've got
Mr.
enough.
Gleason, I'll help you out with those.
Okay, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind a bit.
Appreciate it. Now, I wish that my budget was fat enough to provide you all with a $60 cross pen and pencil set, but this is the very next thing, this is the best thing I can do. But it's a one of our legislative pens, so I want to pass these all along to you, and yes, they do write. Okay. What can I do with mine?
Oh, sorry.
No, here it
That's the
is,
lady
right here.
down.
Yes, sir. Okay. We'll get right into it quickly. What I'm bringing to you this evening is just, I guess I call it, I'll abbreviate it an FYI for your information. The very first thing that you see in our folder is the state's budget. And again, this is just great great information to take home and read it if you want to. But I did want to make it available to each of you board members. The state's budget, we made history this time. We're right now, of course, we're 4 months away from the governor presenting his, his 17-18 budget. But this 16-17, it's history. It's the largest one yet, but there's reasons for it. There's just a lot of our revenues, ladies and gentlemen. I just tell you, I think the September number that I remember was like almost $60 million in revenue above what we were projecting. Now, as a state, we're absolutely, I'll term it, rocking and a-roping. It's just incredible of what's going on in our state when it comes to revenues. Now, there's some down there that will say, well, we need a smaller budget. We're acting how would I say this? Unprofessional, I guess, and I'm saying this since that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But we've been very far behind in providing a lot of things to education and other departments that we fell behind in. I'll give you just a quick example right now. We have a provider for disability and intellectual people across our state, one right here in SAI, right here in our own community. Folks, their employees haven't received a raise in years. And so finally this budget allowed an increase. Not enough, in my opinion, but that's just one example of many. So that's the reason why we've got the revenues. Now, as you flip quickly through this, you'll see that our revenues that we were projecting, and it'll be more than that, we were projecting 18 billion this year, 13, and then an additional 13 from the federal government. But and then the list goes on down through. But how I wish that we didn't have to, I wish we didn't have to depend on the federal government, because there's always strings attached when we get into that. But anyway, that's where we are. You'll see the following page, our biggest cost. Our biggest cost is healthcare. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't see any much light at the end of the tunnel. But anyway, that's again. That'll sum that up. Now, we went into May this year. It's a rather lengthy session, and the reason for was this right here: the governor's initiative, the Improve Act. And as you see. Now this is from the comptroller, by the way. This is from the governor's office, and may I remind you that our 3 constitutional officers, and John, you can back me up on this. Our 3 constitutional officers down there are not appointed by the governor. They act independently. They do answer to the legislature. They're the ones, the legislature. We're the ones that put them, the House and Senate puts them in positions that they're in. So this is an overview and a very good explanation of just what that Improve Act, the ins and outs of it. Unfortunately, there were a lot of misstatements and misunderstandings when it came to this throughout the debate. This is what, and you can read it. It has been described. This is from the comptroller. It's been described as the largest tax cut. People were saying it's a tax increase. Well, of course it is a tax increase at the pump. But by the time you factor in all these others, now I'm not going to get in a debate tonight with anyone here about this, but this is from the comptroller, and this is factual. But it's the largest he describes it as the largest tax cut in Tennessee history. So dig into that. And you'll get maybe some questions and some a better understanding of just what the entire legislation was about. Now the next piece, you don't recognize this lady, but Bill probably knows her. But she's our colleague down in the House. She represents Wilson County. And Susan, she took the time. Susan Lynn, she took the time and she probably had the time, to literally dig in. There's a lot of Q&A, questions and answers here. Again, she gets you straight on a lot of the misstatements and misunderstandings. Anyway, I thought that was, it's really, it's great reading, and she did, I thought, a tremendous job in better explaining. The Improve Act, the next one is this right here. This is our House District. And you will see. And by the way, I'll go ahead and tell you. Let me just use Upper Cumberland for instance. Of the 8 House members who represent that 14 county area, I was the only one that did support the governor. Both Senator Yeager and I did. He did in the Senate, and I did on the House. And there's a reason for it. Scott, Fentress, and Pickett, those are my 3 reasons for doing what I did and voting for it. Yes, I know it's a tax increase. Bill Wendell, you love me, you still love me. Bill's in the trucking business, and I know that. But Bill also understands that we've got to have bridges. And we've got to have roads. And we get this prioritized 962 projects across this state, of which about 500 plus were bridges. So it's not just new road construction. But folks, we got bridges out here that need improving, such as weight. We got a lot that need restructure, redesign, so it can sustain better weight limits. But then we've got some that's just ready to fall in. And, but anyway, I voted for it, so be it. But you can see, here's a list. We got the bypass around Oneida is on this list. Also, the section from Rugby on over to Robbins, I think it is. And there's some bridges in here as well. On the back, though, also, it shows you the revenue, just what it means for Scott County and the cities of Winfield, Oneida, and Huntsville in revenues, from both diesel and gas. So this is going to help continue the maintaining the streets in those 3 cities, in our 3 cities here, as well as it's gonna mean a whole lot for our county highway department. Dick and his folks there too. So anyway, we're breaking history. We made history just recently. The next is a handout, and it shows you the recent unemployment numbers. Folks, I remember in January 11, 24.3% unemployment. I remember it just like it was yesterday. Today, Scott is at 3.8, I think. All right, 3.8. I said 3.8%. Every other county, all 95 counties, just recently, you probably heard, every county is under 5% unemployment. Again, I want to use the term incredible. It's just absolutely incredible of where we are. In our state, overall, the average is 3%, right? So it's really amazing. I will have to, you know, I butted heads with Bill Haslam more than one time, and John Blakely will tell you, he and I have had a lot of conversation. This has been most of our debates or agreement has been rural versus urban. You know, it's rural versus urban, and that was the biggest surprise that hit me when I arrived in Nashville by mid-session that year of 2011. It's not about party affiliation most of the time. I'm telling you, 85–90% of the time it's rural versus urban. So that's where we are. We've had great commissioners, ECD, Economic Community Commissioners. The third page you'll see, and you're sitting there and you're probably going to say, that can't be. But here it is. These numbers show that Scott County, that there's only 380 people unemployed. Now I said this, was it Monday night? At the Fentress County, they had about the same number, I think, Fentress County did. Yeah, well, 320. And I'm standing there in front them like I am you tonight, and they, oh boy, I heard, there ain't no way. There's got to be more unemployed than that. But anyway, that's what the number shows. The next one, two-part. This is sort of a two-part. On the north side, this illustrates our TCRS, our Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. Folks, we got the strong fourth or fifth strongest retirement system, of course, financially, in the nation. It's 94% funded. You can see where Scott County, there's 547 right now retired members according to this. That's drawing almost $7 million in retirement checks. Bottom is real interesting. Almost $820 million in unclaimed property. Now through the Treasury Department, Department of Treasury, Secretary Lillard, he is trying to get this money into the hands that not necessarily need it, but those that actually, there's money down there, and we're not talking about cars, trucks, real property, buildings, and all that. And you can see the description of what this is in the box just above. This includes intangible assets such as bank accounts, stock certificates, insurance companies, refunds. That's what this is all about. We got over in Cocke County, Newport, we recently had a guy that had over $22,000 down there. Nashville had a case of 12,000, Memphis 13, I believe. But anyway, here's Scott County with almost $765,000. Linda, you may have money down there. So I'm going to tell you how. Here's what we're doing. We contacted the treasurer's office and we said, here's what we want. In our district, we want to list everyone that's sitting there with money owed, and they sent it to us. We are currently underway sending out letters to those that have $50 or more. That's sitting down there. You know what? I discovered Kelly had $38, but I claimed it. I've seen them claim for it. So it's real simple. You'll get a letter from us. That letter will just simply tell you, a phone number or how to go online and claim it, or call us. That's what we're there for. Just call us. Weston Davis in our office. He's your assistant. He'll be glad to right on the phone. He'll just go right to the screen and assist you in doing this. Finally, I'm going to end this in a colorful way. You'll see maps. You'll see your House district map, State Senate, 30 acres, as well as your all the congressional districts. And their demographics. So pretty interesting. There's something that oh yes, Bill or John or somebody, this is an email quickly, and I just got this a while ago. This is from Tennessee Achieves? Okay. Melissa, it says, this is from Graham, it doesn't matter, Graham Thomas, and I got the email. But Scott County, they're needing mentors.
Yeah.
Scott is, according to this, Scott's at 58%. So that equates into 17, we need 17 more mentors ASAP, as soon as you can get them. But I just wanted to pass that along. As always, it's not just a pleasure, but it's an honor to represent you all in Nashville. I can't say thank you enough. My phone is probably everyone who's got my cell number. If you don't, I'll be glad to give it to you. I'm probably the only one down there that's brave enough to put their cell number on the card. But it stays on 24/7. Give us a buzz. Got any questions? Holler at me on this, and we'll get you some answers. And I do appreciate Mr. Chairman, and you, Bill, for allowing me to do this.
Sir, thank you. Is that a package I could check?
You certainly may. You can have it. As a matter of fact, I've got 3 or 4 more that might want them.
Thank you. Talk about your money, I got my money like this. That's no deal.
That's true.
Okay, we'll continue on with to hear the report from the principals for the schools. Melissa, would you go first?
Thank you. We did have our veterans program on Thursday, November the 2nd. We had it a little bit early. We had the Campbell County representatives from the Campbell County VFW came and put on an excellent presentation in the little theater for us. We were able to get all of our juniors and seniors in there. They were packed in like sardines, and some of them were sitting on top of each other, but it was well worth it. So want to thank those guys for coming out and doing that. They did the representation. It was all about what does the flag stand for, what does the flag mean, and so it was just a really, really great presentation, and we hope to have them back in the future if they would come back, and hopefully be able to rotate the groups through next year that weren't able to go through this year, but we really thank them for that. It's one of the better presentations that we've had in a long time. We did have a veterans breakfast this morning that was served by our ladies in the cafeteria. Had a few veterans out for that. We appreciate them coming by to spend some time with us this morning. And I do want to give another little shout out to our ladies in the cafeteria. They had their health inspection a couple of weeks ago and earned a perfect 100 score. So we're very proud of them. That is very hard to do. We've never been able to get a 100 score because we had some areas that needed repair in the cafeteria there, and since those areas have been repaired, we were able to earn that 100. So we were very excited about that, and thank the board for being able to do some of those repairs for those ladies. They worked very hard and definitely have earned that. So we're excited about that. We do have at Scott High, we do have a janitor's position open. So I am in the process of collecting the current applications that are on file, but if there is anyone out there who is interested in that position, we do encourage people to come in and apply. We are hoping to get that filled pretty quickly. So if anybody's interested in that position, please come and apply here at the central office, and they'll get me that information. We were able to have our flu shots on Monday for students. Do want to again thank Mr. Shoemaker and the board for being able to do that for students. Again, we have a lot of parents who always call and are thankful that we're able to offer that. I know we have a lot of local medical agencies that do that, but sometimes simply for the ease of being able to do it at school, it's much more convenient. So we thank you all for being able, and thank Mr. Shoemaker for organizing that and being able to do that for us again this year. Again, want to announce that credit recovery has started at the high school. Those dates are posted throughout the school. Those are posted in every classroom in the school, and you can call the school anytime and get those dates. But want to encourage any students who need to make up time and make up work that they need to be in credit recovery quickly. They need to be there quickly. And parents can call and we can give them information about that as well. Again, our basketball season will kick off on November the 14th. That's next Tuesday, with some Hall of Fame games at Scott High. The Maxwell Sexton Speech Contest will be November the 14th at 1 o'clock at Oneida High School. I think that was originally publicized that it would be at Scott High, but it's not. That was incorrect. This year's county competition will be at Oneida High School on the 14th. And on the 27th of November, we will begin EOC testing, and then we will test all the way up until we break for Christmas. We have organized our testing schedule just a little bit differently this year to extend the time for some of those tests are just so long. So try to space those out in different days rather than having kids set for 3 and 4 hours at a time, quite literally. So we've tried to space that out a little bit differently than we've done in the past, but that just simply extends the days. So we will be testing. We have a 15-day window, and we are testing for 14 out of the 15 days. So that is a big window. We encourage parents to make sure your students are there. Attendance is a major issue. They must take those tests because they have different parts. They must take those parts in a specific order. And so if they miss a day, it may put them behind in taking those parts and cause them to have to sit and do a very long test session one day, and we don't want that. So we encourage them to have good attendance, especially all the time, but especially after Thanksgiving. And just let you all know that as well, because we do kind of have a different testing season in the elementary. I know that on the agenda tonight is to bid for the senior trip. I did have one company, the company that bid last year they did go ahead and reach out to me. So they would be bidding on that again, and they did go ahead and reach out to me and kind of give me some details on that. So we've already started working with the students on that, started some preliminary meetings. Again, as I told y'all before, I'm not quite sure that will make, but we'll give it one last shot to see if we have enough students to do that. But they have already reached out and said that they do intend to bid for it. So we're going to go ahead and kind of tentatively work off of those numbers right now, so students, because they're already fundraising, and go ahead and start planning payments, because it's pretty expensive, so parents need a lot of advance notice on those things. But do you all have any questions? I do have to leave, so I want to make sure that I answer any questions that you may have on any agenda items before I go.
I don't have a question on
Yes.
agenda items, I just wondered if
Sure.
there was an update on Robbie. Massey.
Oh, on Robbie Massey, I thought you said Robin. On Robbie Massey, yes, Robbie is finishing up that time there at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. Right now, they are saying that he will be back sometime in December, that he'll be home sometime in December. We're not really sure what his return to work status is yet. We'll kind of let him play that by ear as he gets home and sees what type of outpatient treatment that he needs to do. Of course, we've told him we'll take him back as soon as he's ready to come back, and hope that he feels well enough and able to do that as soon as possible. But he is making progress through his rehabilitation services there. I think his mother, I talked to, saw his mother had posted the other day and said that he was up and ready and out and about in the hallways before she woke up that morning. So I think he's doing well with some of those independent skills, and we continue to pray for him, and please continue to do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hamilton?
Today we had our veterans program also, and it turned out really well. I want to thank the fourth grade students and all the veterans for coming out. They put on a really good program, and we enjoyed it. I also want to thank Ron State for donating some chairs and some special needs student desks. We really appreciate that. The maintenance department for their quick work on coming out and fixing up our special ed room that really needed some work. We really needed that work. And the White Rock Baptist Church for bringing out some room dividers that we needed. They brought those out and donated those to us, and that's going to really help separate some of those rooms that we're having to share so that they can have their own areas to work in. We will have no school tomorrow so that we can celebrate with our families for Veterans Day. American Education Week starts next week, and we have some activities planned, so you can come out and visit with us and see those things that we have set aside for everybody. Health screenings for us will be on Monday for our students, and we will have our student flu shots on Tuesday. Points will be on Wednesday. They'll be coming home on that early release day. And then we'll be rolling right into Thanksgiving pretty soon. So that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Crabtree?
Thank you, ma'am. Well, tonight we have a basketball game against Robbins at school, so I may have to scoot a little bit early, maybe not. Our JV game begins at 5:30, so that's the girls, so Miss Amanda will probably be scooting out as well here in just a little bit. But come on out and see us. We've got 3 games tonight, and hopefully we'll put on a good show for you all. So yesterday we had our Veterans Day program. Just want to thank those veterans for coming out. We had over 70 veterans and their families there. It was outstanding. Want to thank Mr. Gary Sexton from the high school. He came out and was our guest speaker. Even though he was adamant that he was not a public speaker, he was telling a story because he did a fabulous job. Just want to thank him for coming out and doing that. Thank Mr. Hunt and the advanced band for playing. They did an outstanding job. That program is just growing leaps and bounds. I think we have about 120 band students now at Birchfield. He's doing an outstanding job with those folks. And just thank that Veterans Day committee. It was just a wonderful day, and we had a really good time. Monday, November the 13th, I have 2 students that will be going on to Winfield for the next round of the Maxwell Sexton speech contest. It begins at 9:30. Those students are Grace Terry and Kaylin Jeffers, and our alternate is Miss Brooklyn Miles. They are all 7th graders, so looking forward to hearing how those ladies will do on Monday up at Winfield. Wednesday is our early release day on November the 15th. We will also be sending out progress reports for those students. My staff will be looking at this last data that we received from the state, which is very little in terms of helping us plan and try to meet those students' needs, but we are going to be planning about building new assessments for this 9 weeks to make sure those assessments are matching those standards that those kids have been taught. So they will kind of get a little jump start on that and practicing for the 10 ready test that happens in April. And on Friday, November the 17th, the students at Birchville will be receiving their flu shots. So all that paperwork's turned in, and I think we're ready to go with that. So unless you have anything for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Stanley?
Last week was National Bus Safety Week, and we did recognize our bus drivers. Miss Terry Strunk, who has driven a bus for us for a long time, has now moved to Georgia. So we were glad that we were able to do this before she left. But we had Terry Strunk, Junior Ryan, Steve Phillips, and Michael Strunk. Bonnie Strunk also runs one of the special ed buses for us. So we appreciate all that they do, as well as George, Mr. Bowles, and everything that he does for us. Football players, we had some football players who made all-district: Phoenix Norris, Bryson Creekmore, Cannon Van Hook, and Zachary King. We had one student who made all-East Tennessee, and that was Lorenzo Garcia. So we're real proud of those football boys. We have, since we've started football, we've had several players that have gone on to help Scott High. Austin Ayers was one of those, and he was, I think, scheduled to start until he banged up his knee in conditioning. We also have Mason Tucker, who was one of our former students and one of the initial football players when Mr. Stanley was coaching that team. And I think Mason's done an outstanding job for Scott High football as well as basketball. We did have our Veterans Day program today, and just wanted to give you a little picture of the veterans that were there. We had over 40 veterans there, and the picture that I gave John shows all of the veterans. The one that I've given Tommy, we had 2 World War II veterans there, and those guys are getting to be really scarce. So we had those 2 there, Junior Terry and J.D. Lay, and we were just thrilled to have them there today. They do such a good job up at school of recognizing those veterans. Our cafeteria, under the supervision of Miss Terry Mays, the cafeteria did a great job cooking breakfast for them. Appreciate Miss Sharp for attending, and Mr. Stanley. And also we had Miss Esther before she had to leave for her medical appointment. She and her husband were there. Also, speaking of the cafeteria workers, Ms. Rector mentioned the 100 on health inspection. And I don't always say this about our cafeteria workers, but Miss Terry and our girls have had several hundreds on their health inspections. In fact, I tend not to recognize them as much because they do it so often. So just want to mention they do work hard. They do a great job for us. As Miss Crabtree said, we do have the Maxwell Sexton Speech Contest at our place this year. It is Monday morning at 9:30. We will be hosting our students, Miss Tanya's students, and the Oneida students. So there will be 6 of those students that compete for that. That's at 9:30 Monday morning, and looking forward to hearing some really good speeches with that. We have basketball homecoming 1 week from tonight, and that will be Thursday, November 16th. Homecoming will start at 6. The game itself will start at 6:30. Our reading fair is Friday, November 17th. We have lots of participation at that reading fair. Welcome all of you. In fact, some of you will probably be getting calls asking for you to come up and help judge, because there are, and Ms. Smith can tell you, Mr. Stanley can tell you, they've been there before, there are a lot of projects. So, you know, if any of you want to just volunteer, that's great. Chances are we will be calling you, so kind of get ready for that. Health screenings for us are Tuesday, November 21st. We have our 4th grade going to Biztown coming up on Tuesday, November the 28th, and that will be under Miss Jessica Chambers, our 4th grade teacher, and our counselor, Miss Regina. Our midterm progress reports will also be going out on Wednesday, November 15th, so we're asking the parents to make sure they look for that. Also, I want to clarify something, I think, about the discussion last week, last Tuesday, on the lights in the bleachers. I was not asking the board to buy bleachers. I was asking the board to bid bleachers, just to give us a cost. And I'm not sure that that was made clear. Perhaps I didn't make that clear. We're looking to try to raise the money for bleachers, okay? I'm not sure what the correct protocol is, if we're supposed to, just take those bids ourselves for the bleachers. I just assumed that it would go through you all to make sure that those bleachers were safe and correct and what we needed. But if we don't need to go through you for that bid, then we'll do it. I just need to know, from the board what you want me to do. We were asking a bid for the lighting, and I will be asking the board to vote on that when we get that information. But I just wanted to clear up about the bleachers.
Thank you, Ms. Stanley. If I can interject, it is going to be part of our new plan that it was actually going to get working on today, but I got caught up in too many things. To bring to the board after the bids is for bleachers for you all, for the lights, also help with Robbins and Huntsville Middle. So that's going to be part of our new revenue plan. Okay?
Well, if there's anything that I need to do on that end, I'll be glad to do that as long as y'all just guide me and tell me what I need to do. Okay. And that's all I have unless you have questions.
Thank you. Mr. Dash?
Most of mine is ball games. We've got ball games and ball games and ball games. Tonight we play Elk Valley at home, 6. Monday and Tuesday next week we got home games against Birchville and Follett. Tuesday is also our family night reading. It'll be from 3:30 to 5:30. Wednesday the 15th, early dismissal. Riders will leave school at 12:30. Buses from Sky High is about 10:01, 1 o'clock. Wednesday will also be our fall picture retakes. There'll also be basketball pictures and band and cheerleading. Midterm, mid-9 weeks grading cards will go up Wednesday, as everybody else has already said. Basketball game Thursday. The next week, Monday and Tuesday, we got a away game. Monday at Jellicoe, Tuesday at Robbins. That gets us Thanksgiving. I think that gets us to 10 of the 16 games before Thanksgiving. I think that's most I've been. So, obviously no school tomorrow, so we're busy every evening. So it's keeping us going, keep us on our toes. So that's all I have, unless you guys have anything.
Thank you. Ms. Goodman?
Okay, I would like to congratulate some boys on our football team. The ones that made all district were Alex Chambers, Jesse Diaz, Zane Henry, and Dalton Pruitt. And then we had some that were all East Tennessee, Alex Chambers, Zane Henry, and Dalton Pruitt. So we want to congratulate those boys for that. And I know that you all have a calendar, but I always like to go through this again for the parents out there who might be listening and watching us on television, so they know what's coming up. Of course, tonight, Huntsville is at Livesay. Junior varsity starts at 5:30, varsity's at 6:30. We pray for their safe travel. Tomorrow, as we've said, no school, it's Veterans Day, and I personally want to just thank all the veterans for their service, so that my family and I can have and enjoy the freedoms that we have today. And saying thank you seems very, very small for everything that they have done, but they are in our prayers, and we appreciate everything that they have done and are doing to help protect us and give us these freedoms. Next week is American Education Week. That is the time that we are going to say thank you to everybody that has a hand in our students, the bus drivers, cafeteria assistants, everybody. We do something each day that week for each one of them. We also wanted to do something, our counselor, Ms. Regina Bond, began at the beginning of the year. Her goal this year was to make our students in the middle school a little more aware about college and making that a goal and thinking about that. Sometimes they're not, and they're not thinking about that career and what paths they need to take and what they need to do. So one of the things that she did was she ordered pennants, or called and got pennants from all the different colleges that our teachers attended. So when you go down the hall, those pennants are hanging on all their doors. So we wanted to pull that in and continue that theme through American Education Week. So Miss Cindy Jeffers, has gone around to all of our teachers and interviewed them and asked them a couple questions about the college that they attended, why they chose the path that they chose, what courses, what was some of their favorite courses, and how have those classes impacted them today? How has that helped them as teachers, bringing in some of that real world? She brought down those bios to me today, and they are quite hilarious. The kids are going to thoroughly enjoy these. And what we're going to do is those students are going to read those bios, and then they're going to try to figure out, match the bio to the teacher. And I can tell you right now, I didn't get any of them. They are going to have fun with this next week. And so we're going to play a little game with it, and it's going to get very interesting. Some of them were just really funny. So we're hoping that this is going to spark some conversation and get our middle schoolers thinking about their future and making those decisions and realizing that they can start now preparing for that, and that those grades and their attendance and everything that goes, it's going to affect them in their future. So we're excited about that, looking forward to it. Monday is the Maxwell Sexton Oratorical Contest. We will be going to Robbins. And then on Tuesday, they'll be coming to Huntsville Middle, and we will host it there. Tuesday the 14th is also student flu shots. The 15th, as everybody said, we want to say it again, that is second 9 weeks midpoint. They'll be coming home, and it's early release day. Some of the things that our teachers will be doing, we have several of our teachers that's going to come in and present some writing that we want to do throughout the entire school. Ms. Jeffers is also going to look at formative assessments and some different ways that we can use that, put a little spin on that, make it look at it differently than what we're using it for. We will also be Lake City next Thursday, the 16th. Lake City will be at Huntsville. And then the next week, on the 20th, is our basketball homecoming. That's a Monday night. And then the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, that's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, it's Thanksgiving break. Book fair begins December 1st and goes through the 8th. And I do want to, again, remind parents about on the early release day of those times, because that's real confusing. We still have a lot of people calling in and questioning about that. We are getting notes out and trying to make sure, it's on all of our calendars that we send home. But special ed pickups and Boys and Girls Club will be leaving at 12. First load leaves at 12:15. Second load leaves Huntsville at 12:40. And I think I've said everything, unless you have questions for me. All right.
Thank you. Ms. Newman?
I did set a November and December calendar where you are tonight, so I'm not going to go over everything that's on our calendar. As you can see, November and December are very busy months. I don't think there's very many days that don't have something listed on it, and probably some of them I didn't even fit half of what is going on it. So I will just hit some of the highlights. First of all, I'm going to say a big thank you to Shirley Stevens, her daughter Alicia. We just had a wonderful Veterans Day program today. We had a huge turnout. Miss Diane Smith was there. Mayor Dennis Jeffers spoke along with Mr. Sam Story. It was just very touching. The kids did a wonderful job at that. We are playing at Birchfield tonight, so when I leave here, we'll be going up to the ball game. I will mention that Monday is our Maxwell Sexton Oratorical Speech Contest. That will be at Robbins Elementary at 9:30, and then the winners from that will go on to Huntsville Middle School on the 14th. On our early release day on the 15th, Miss Tammy Russ will be presenting or redelivering what she learned at the Model School Conference over the summer. We're also going to be working quite a bit with our pre-K kindergarten teachers on their portfolio. I think we finally did get the username and passwords figured out for that, how to get into the Edutopia and things. So hopefully we're going to help them be able to get into that and get those videos streaming and things like that. And then as you can see on your calendar, we have basketball game after basketball game. Mr. Cash is correct. It's just a busy time of the year. On the 20th, though, it is our family reading night from 3:30 to 5:30, and then that leads us right into Thanksgiving. So that's all I have. On any events that we have listed, I do know that on December the 1st, that's our Christmas festival at school. Please come out if you have an opportunity. Take that calendar with you, look at what we've got, and anything that you can come to, we would love to have you. So that's all I have, unless you have something for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you very much. Quick reminder, we were expecting our 3 through 8 scores. Ms. Keaton just left me a note today, says, as of today, we have not received a 3 through 8 scores, nor we received our second grade final scores. 2018 TSBA Day on the Hill, the dates for that will be February the 12th and 13th. That'll be the day that we get to go down and lobby with Mr. Kiesling and Mr. Yeager, so we will.
And if I may insert, I've got to go. Just a note, we're in transition. Everybody is moving from the War Memorial and Legislative Plaza over to Cordell House, so we, that's it's going to be a big move. So anyway, we'll be looking forward to seeing you now.
We'll get with your assistant, we'll set the date.
Please, yeah, okay.
Thank you. But anyway, if you plan on attending, please let Sharon know ASAP so we can go ahead and get rooms reserved. As Ms. Reddick mentioned today, the EOC fall testing window, Scott High School goes from November 27th to December the 15th. November 15th, early release day. Buses will leave Scott High School at 12:30. We leave in Huntsville at 12:15. Veterans Day, of course, no school tomorrow. And may I also interject a thank you to all of our veterans who have served to allow us the freedoms we have in this country. Looking at the picture a while ago, my first thought was heroes. You guys are heroes. You allow us to be able to do what we do because of your service and commitment to our country. Mr. Stanley, thank you for your service and commitment that you've given us. And again, tremendous thank you. That's all I have. Unless you guys have questions for me.
What about our, have we got everything out of the old bus garage yet?
Got everything out, waiting on, turn the gas off. I think it was out there today. We've donated the garage doors to Mr. Dick Sexton. The lady said she will call us probably within a couple of days when she's going to go, so we get everything turned off. Is that correct, Mr. Blakely?
That's correct.
And hopefully by next week we'll start demolition.
We think we have everything out. They asked us to turn off all the utilities as the owners, and we've gotten that done except for electricity, which is going to have to wait till that final pumping station is done away with. Once all that's done, she's going to allow us to have the doors, give to Mr. Dick Sexton, and we should be good to go.
Okay.
Item 7, adoption of the agenda. In accordance with Board Policy Number 1.403, the Scott County Board of Education should adopt an agenda for all items to be acted upon during the regular monthly meeting of November 9, 2017. I need a motion and second to approve the November 9, 2017 agenda.
Motion.
I'll second.
Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Stanley? Aye. Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Aye. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item number 8, consent agenda items. In accordance with the Scott County Board of Education Policy Number 4.403, the Board of Education may include routine and non-controversial items on a consent agenda, which may be adopted by a single vote without discussion. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed and placed on the regular agenda for further consideration at the request of any board member. I need a motion and second to approve the listed items on the consent agenda as follows. A, approval of the minutes for October 2017. B, approval of the bills and financial report for September 2017.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Silcox?
Item 9A, Schools Activity Fund Audit. Mr. Dennis Jeffers, CPA, PC, was employed by the Scott County Board of Education to conduct an audit for all schools' activity funds. I need a motion and second to accept the 2017 Schools Activity Fund Audit as prepared by Dennis Jeffers, CPA, PC.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Stanley? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item 9B, business trip accident insurance. The renewal premium for the business trip accidental death coverage insurance is due. This plan covers all full-time employees and board members for $100,000 accidental death, bus drivers $20,000, and substitute bus drivers $10,000 while they are on official school business. I need a motion and second to renew the business trip accidental death insurance policy at a cost of $772 for the 2017-2018 school year.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Stanley? Mr. Thompson? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item 9C, Clinch PAL membership. Board approval is necessary to continue the Scott County Systems membership in the Clinch Powell Educational Cooperative for the 2017-2018 school year. I need a motion and second to approve payment of $2,500 to the Clinch Powell Educational Cooperative for memberships due of the Scott County School System for the 2017-2018 school year.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Stanley? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Item 9D, request finance director bid. In accordance with Scott County Board of Education policy number 2.806 concerning bids and quotations, all purchases of supplies, materials, equipment, and contractual services in excess of $10,000 shall be based on competitive bids. I need a motion and second to request the finance director bid the following: Scott High School senior trip, 3 battery-powered high-speed burnishers, bleachers, and lighting for football field at Winfield Elementary School.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Stanley? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Item 9E, approve CTE textbook committee. Approval is needed to appoint the CTE textbook committee for the 2017-2018 school year. I need a motion and second to approve the following individuals to the CTE textbook committee for arts, A/B, and communications for the 2017-2018 school year. John Blakely, Benjamin Bruce, Michelle Carson, and Stuart McNeely.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Ms. Sharp?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Stanley? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item 9F, approve budget amendments. In pursuant to board policy number 2.201, the Scott County Board of Education needs to approve budget amendments required to balance the budget for the fiscal year 2017-2018. This action will allow funds to be applied to areas of the budget that lack sufficient funds to complete the school year. I need a motion and second to approve the 2017-2018 federal budget amendment number 2.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Stanley? Mr. Thompson? Mr. Silcox? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item 9G, board policies. Approval is needed by the board to amend board policies as recommended by TSBA. We need a motion and second to approve the second reading of the following amended board policies as recommended by TSBA. 6.4081, safe relocation of students. 6.500, special education students. 6.503, homeless students.
Before we get a motion on that, I apologize. I wondered if the board could actually bump the first recommended board policy change, which is safe relocation of students, until the next meeting. There's some questions I have about that one that I haven't got answers from TSBA. So if it's okay with the board, I'd like to bump that to the December meeting. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong, I just want to check something out on that. Can you do a motion for that?
I'll make a motion with both. Second.
But if you'll just approve those other two, I don't have any
Motion to
issues
approve
on
the
that,
other two.
on those. Got that.
We need to vote on the,
Vote on the other two, but just let's put the other one on the December meeting for the second reading. I just want to check something out before we do that. I'm sorry about that.
that's okay. What was your motion or second? Motion.
So,
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Stanley? Mr. Thompson? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye. Item 9H, purchase of vehicles. Board approval is needed to allow the maintenance department to purchase vehicles. We need a motion and second to allow the director of schools and his designee to purchase the following trucks for the maintenance department from the state-approved bid. A half-ton pickup, four-wheel drive extended cab. 2-ton trucks, chassis, cab, four-wheel drive, four-door with tool beds.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley? Mr. Thompson?
Item 9I, overnight out-of-state trips. Board approval is needed for out-of-state overnight school trips. I need a motion and second to approve the following overnight out-of-state trips. Upward Bound, Abington, Virginia, December 2nd, 2017.
motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Waiting on roll call.
Mr. Stanley? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Ms. Sharp? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Item 9J, adjournment. I need a motion and second to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
You have anything?
Do any of you have anything you want to say?
Congratulations to all the veterans that come out. We got, I guess, free meals and events they put on. And I thank them for their service. Thank their families too. Thank you.
I'm in agreement with that. I think it's one of the most important things that we do in our school system is to teach what people have sacrificed for our freedoms. And I want to give a special shout out to Ms. Newman, Ms. Shirley Stevens, and Alicia for an outstanding program today.
Well, I agree, and I was at Winfield with Ms. Stanley, and it was an outstanding program. I do appreciate that it's a day for the kids to ask, why are we not going to school today? And that gives everybody a chance to express that and express their appreciation for all of our veterans. I'd like to make a couple of comments about the TSBA conference that we went to last week. One of the programs that I went to was called Homework Hotline, and every school system can be a part of that. It's by grants, and it's Metro teachers. It's not college kids going to school. It's a room full of teachers, and it's for K through 12. It's free. You can call or chat anytime. If anyone's interested, if the principals are interested in getting that number or anything, I'll be
Is there
glad.
anything on the website where they can go to?
They do, but I didn't get
Get
that
that?
bill.
Okay.
But I thought they work on Central Time, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And they run on Metro's school schedule. And one other thing, on the last day, our closing speaker was Liz Murray. She was outstanding. If you haven't seen the movie, From Homeless to Harvard, that tells it all, and that explains it all. She was so complimentary of public school teachers. And like I said, make it a point to watch that movie, maybe even yourself. I haven't seen the movie, but she was outstanding. She was really homeless. She graduated from Harvard and is now a teacher.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. You gotta watch it on Lifetime, so it tells you what I get to watch a lot of. Anyway, it is outstanding. It truly is.
And the other was, wasn't it Spare Tires?
Yes.
Spare Parts. Spare Parts. Well, I got the spare right. But anyway, that's about a school out in Texas that they defeated MIT on the robotics. So that's another good movie. It's an inspiration for the students to watch. So you may want to take advantage of those sometimes.
Well, I'm thankful to all the schools for the programs you put on for veterans and what you teach the kids. And I didn't get to come to any this year due to work and things, but I always enjoy coming to as many as I can. I appreciate it.
I also want to thank all the veterans in this county who have served this country. I'm very proud that I have many family members who have served this country in the armed services. It's something that I'm just extremely proud about. I also wanted to thank Linda for reminding me to wear my t-shirt tonight. But I went home and I could not find it. It's in the dirty clothes. So this is the only thing I got. Seriously, I want to thank the board for allowing me to attend the TSBA conference. It is extremely valuable to me. It does help me to keep up to date on the developments of the law with regard to the school systems. So I want you to, I just want to thank you for giving me that opportunity to attend that conference every year. And that's all.
I'd like to thank all the principals of schools for putting on the veteran shows. You would not believe what it means to the veterans to come to these. Thank you.
Well, I'd have to be like everybody else. We do appreciate all the things actually that our schools do, not only Veterans Day, but all the things that they accomplish for our county. But I think all of us know without our veterans, we wouldn't have the freedoms we have in the world today. So we do thank you.
Item 9J, adjournment. Need a motion and second to adjourn our meeting.
Mr. Silcox. Ms. Sharp. Ms. Smith. Ms. Kidd. Mr. Stanley. Mr. Thompson.